the end of Season 1 of his Dark Materials. I would strongly advise bringing a lot of tissues before watching the last episode. Hello everyone and welcome to my latest review, where today I review the finale to Season 1 of his Dark Materials, Episode 8, Betrayal, the 8th and final episode of the first series. Okay, so after a while, we are now at the very end of Season 1 of his Dark Materials, so this is a very special review. And at the end of this video, I will be ranking the episodes in order of personal preference. Just my own personal list. Not saying this is the order you should rank them in, but just my own personal feeling. And then I will do my overall verdict on the season as well. Anyway, let's press on. So the plot of Betrayal is as follows. As the Magisterium closes in, Lyra learns more about Azriel's rebellion, but her assistance to him comes at a great personal cost. So, Episode 8, Betrayal. Fantastic finale. Absolutely superb. I mean, wow. It's quite an intense one. It really is. Betrayal is really emotionally very strong. It's where everything more or less sort of comes together. It doesn't end on a particularly cheery note, shall we say, but the build up to it is so well done. It is just so masterfully crafted. It is so good. I was struggling to hold back my tears, and I'm being absolutely serious. I was really struggling to contain my emotion with this one. As for issues, well, let's get them out of the way first, because I only really have one issue with this episode. The final action sequence that takes place where the bears fight against the Magisterium and the Zeppelins could have made more of the action. The action was a bit limp, to be honest. I don't think the series overall has done great with the action sequences, if I'm going to be honest. Other than the bear fight in episode 7, the action needed a bit of work, I think. It's not bad, it's entertaining, but I just think that they could have made more of it. They could have made more of the stakes to this. However, that's the only thing that I have to complain about. The rest of the episode is just flawless. We still also focus on the character of Will and his journey. There are people that are after Will for various reasons, more of which we'll discover in Season 2. And he's left his mother with a friend, so he's basically on the run. And Carlo Boreal, the guy from the Magisterium, is chasing him, basically. And the police are after him as well. At the end of the episode, Will stumbles through into another world. He crosses the gateway into another world. So, of course, we'll see more of Will in Season 2, when we really get to find out more about his character. But, yeah, Amir Wilson, does a good job in this one. We really see the isolation of Will and how he's had to basically leave his entire life behind because of this, because of the danger that's following him, and he's put his mother in safety, which is the main thing, and now he can just focus on progressing. But the central focus is, of course, Lyra and her journey in this one. This is a really emotional episode, because when the episode begins, we see Lyra confront her father, Lord Azriel, about why he lied to her, because he pretended to be her uncle. He basically proves to her that he doesn't give a shit. He doesn't care about her. He just wanted her to be safe in Jordan College, where she wouldn't get too attached to him, because he would keep going off all the time doing his work. And he really proves how much of a nasty piece of work he really is. He tries to inform his daughter about why the Magisterium hate dust so much, because they view it as sin. The Magisterium want to suppress any knowledge of dust, and they don't want people crossing between worlds, because they don't feel like it should be allowed. But of course, Azriel completely disagrees with that, and wants to break through the barriers and cross into another world, and he does this in the very extremist of ways. And I'm going to go into spoilers with this episode, so if you haven't seen it, please don't watch any further. Azriel decides that the only way to cross into the borders of another world is to kill Roger. And basically he does this with a little cage machine, which is similar to the one that we saw in Bolvanger. and he decides to slice Roger from his demon, which is how Billy died as well. My goodness me, the demise of Roger, it's so sad. It's really, really sad. It is beautifully written, beautifully acted as well. The final moment where Dafne Keen as Lyra, she's holding him in her arms and she's crying and she's just completely broken down, and she's like, I'm really sorry about all of this, and she blames herself because she rescued Roger and Roger joined her to go and find Azrael. And my god, you just really feel so sorry for Lyra. She really has the most horrible parents in the world. We also get to understand a bit more about Mrs. Coulter and her relationship with Lord Asriel, and how she still loves him, and they actually still love each other very much, but they have different views. It's kind of awkward because she's kind of more on the side of the Magisterium. Asriel is not, and he wants to go off and do his things and meddle in things that the Magisterium feel he shouldn't be meddling in. But Marisa Coulter, while she loves him, wants to support Lyra, their child, and it just goes to show how much Asriel does not care about Lyra when he just goes off at the end and leaves Marisa Coulter to find Lyra. I mean, Asriel openly admits that he was never cut out to be a father, and he says that to Lyra. So Lyra is incredibly hurt by that, and he doesn't want the alethiometer. Like, she gives him the alethiometer, and he's like, no, you can keep that, that's fine. And she feels a bit hurt by that, but what hurts her more, obviously, is realising that he didn't want that all along. He wanted Roger, which was very dark indeed. I did mention before about Lord Asriel being a dark character. Well, this is it. I think the performances here are just incredible. Like I said, Dafne Keen, she gets better and better with each episode, and I think she really has mastered this character by now, especially in the final scenes when she says goodbye to Roger. It's just, oh my god, it is so heartbreaking. Like I said, I was fighting to hold back my tears. It was that good. It really was. And James McAvoy as Lord Asriel, he's very good, actually. I really do quite like him in this part. He's a very sinister character, and he definitely plays that rather well. And there's a lot of conflict there because he knows what he is doing, and he is fully aware of the consequences of his actions on a personal level, but he is determined to prove the Magisterium wrong and prove that there are ways to cross into other worlds, and there are ways to allow dust to come into their lives. Of course, he has basically sacrificed any chance of a good relationship with his daughter, and by killing her best friend, he has shown how immoral he really is. I think Asriel is a very immoral character. He's very selfish. He selfishly snatched Roger for the sole purpose of killing him, and it's just horrible to watch. It really is. But Asriel achieved what he wanted to in the end. Like I said, when they part ways, it is it is interesting to see how still very much in love they are. So it's a very conflicting emotion for Mrs. Coulter, because she doesn't agree with what he's doing, but she loves him. She still loves him. There's still a love there, and I think that's what's really interesting about this. And obviously Lyra, it's so conflicting for her, because on the one hand, she's lost her best friend, and he was everything to her. I honestly do believe that if Roger had survived, he probably would have married Lyra. I reckon in the future, growing up, they probably would have become husband and wife. And it's a real shame that Roger goes in the way he does, but it's that much more tragic, the fact that it was her father, Lord Asriel, her dad, that killed him. Also, she doesn't like her mother either, so bless Lyra. She has a lot to deal with emotionally, and she really does feel alone. But she too decides to cross through to the other world and find out more about dust, because it's not over yet. There's still a lot more to discover. And now that she's lost Roger, she's more determined than ever to stop her father, Lord Asriel, from doing anything else that horrible. I think the episode is masterful, the way that it kind of builds up to it. They do kind of dedicate a lot of time to Roger and Lyra. There are several scenes with Roger and Lyra where they're talking about things and how close they are, and you can see how close they are as friends. Like, there's a scene when she's in the bath and he's not facing her, he's facing the wall, but they're talking about how they've changed each other's lives and everything, and it's very sweet. And also under the little tent as well, when they're eating food, and they really are the best of friends, and you can see that. And I like the way they do that, because they're building you up, and they want Roger's demise to hit you, and believe me, it does. It was the only way they could have done the episode, and they approached it in just the right way. The episode looks fantastic as well. It just looks so good as well. It looks almost on, like I said, movie budget level, especially those final shots by the mountain where we see the portal and the light and everything. It looks visually stunning. Like I said, the only thing that lets this down is the action. The action is quite limp, but on an emotional level, you cannot fault this episode. It hits you so hard, and it is a great ending to season 1, and it sets you up well for season 2 with Lyra and Will crossing into another world. So, of course, they will meet in the next episode, and then we will see where the story goes from there. And also Urek. Urek is very good in this one. He gets to do a lot of the action stuff, and you can see his loyalty to Lyra and how she thanks him for everything he's done, and then she gives him a kiss. That's a very nice little moment there. It's them sort of parting ways a little bit. But overall, this is a phenomenal episode, and I have to give Betrayal a 10 out of 10. And that, my friends, is season 1 of his Dark Materials. Well, what can I say other than, wow, this is an amazing show. It really is. None of the episodes are bad. All of them are good. I think my least favourite episode, which I will reveal, I don't even think that one is bad. I still think it's good. I think it just gets stronger and stronger as it goes on. There are a few minor criticisms that I've thrown at this show so far, but this is a fantastic show, and I think doing it as a series was probably a good idea because it's such a complicated story that trying to do it in a 2-hour film would have been rushed, and it would have been too much to condense. I think this show definitely succeeds over The Golden Compass. I mean, don't get me wrong, the Golden Compass movie, I was fair to it, but I still don't like it. I still think it was messy in a lot of areas, and they clearly ran out of time when they were making it because the damn thing is rushed, and it doesn't end where this show ends and where the book is supposed to end. So watching The Golden Compass is kind of irrelevant now. I say honestly, forget The Golden Compass and stick to the TV show. I mean, if you wish to watch The Golden Compass, then go ahead by all means, but there's no point really when you've got this show now. Mostly everything works. The cast, the writing, the visual effects, the score. The score is beautiful, by the way. The final music that plays in the credits after Lyra crosses through is just beautiful. It really is. The storytelling is very good. My only sort of main thing, I would have said maybe condense the length of the episodes a bit to 45 minutes, because some of the episodes are a bit slow. Although this last episode needed that 56-minute runtime. I think that was probably a good idea, but yeah. And this show, unlike some shows, does have the kind of a cinematic feel, so you could definitely see kind of an influence of a semi-big budget with this show, and you can definitely see it being screened, like on a big screen. I would happily watch all these episodes on a big screen. It is quite a complicated story to tell. It's not easy, and I think they should be very proud of what they have achieved with this show, because this first season, honestly, it blew me away. And I don't often say that about TV shows, but it blew me away. And I think, it works. It really, really works. I think they proved a lot of people wrong, that it could work very well. And I cannot wait to review the second season. I don't know if the second season is as good, in my opinion, but this first season, it really is just full of amazing things. And it's such an amazing universe to put on screen. And the BBC and HBO, they should be incredibly proud of this season. So, season 1 of his Dark Materials, I would recommend it highly. I really would. If you haven't seen it, please watch it. It's really, really good. All that's left for me to say now is goodbye. But before that, I'm going to rank the episodes on base of personal preference. So, from worst to best, and this is my own opinion, I'm not saying this is how you should do it, but this is just my own list, and please respect my opinion. Any nasty comments will be removed. Thank you. Number 8, Lyra's Jordan. Number 7, The Idea of North. Number 6, The Demon Cages. Number 5, The Fight to the Death. Number 4, The Spies. Number 3, Armor. Number 2, The Lost Boy. And number 1, Betrayal. So, that is it for now, folks. That's my review of Season 1 of his Dark Materials. What do you think of this season? Please comment down below, let me know. And next time, I will be back to review the first episode of Season 2 of Dark Materials, which is The City of Magpies, where we start to go into the Subtle Knife story, which is the second book of the trilogy. And I know Season 3 will be made at some point, which will focus on the Amber Spyglass. So until then, thank you all for watching, and as always, I'm Mr. Thomas11. See you soon. Bye for now.